Isn't that great? So that's what I mean. Like, I could sit here and give you the entire, my discussion on it, what I think about what's going on with that, give you different sides of the argument. It would be actually a pretty interesting discussion to have. And I feel like I have a lot to add to that. You know, a lot to say. But that's not my content. That's not gaming, right? That's nothing that what I usually do. That's nothing at all like the kind of content that I would usually make. It's completely different, right? And I feel like if I were to do that kind of content here, or even on the React channel, or even on the Throwback channel, it wouldn't work. Why? Because everyone knows that that is not really the content that I do there. I feel like if I was to do content like that, it would be, obviously it's going to be polarizing, and some people are going to be upset if you don't agree. And that's really the reason why it's held me back all these years from doing this kind of content, okay? There's so many people out there that sadly, all right, I hate to say it, they cannot think from a mature mindset and understand that people can have different opinions, people can have differences of opinion, right, on everything. Politics, religion, games, food, life in general, and that's okay. It's totally okay to have differences of opinion. You don't have to always agree with everything that everyone else says, as long as you respect someone else's opinion and you make an effort to understand where they're coming from. And it's okay also if you want to relay your opinion to them, and maybe then they'll understand where you're coming from. And then at the very least, you won't be at each other's throats. But I hate to say it here, at least here in the United States, so ever since Trump was elected many years ago, the politics here are either you're with me or you're against me. Either, you know, you're all the way over here to this side, or you're all the way over here to this side, and these two heads just run into each other like this, like two brick walls, and no one wants to work together on anything, and no one wants to compromise, and no one wants to actually see things as they are. They just want to live in their own big, like, cultish followings and just hate each other constantly and think that each other is the villain, right? And that's the saddest thing, is that our country will never improve acting like that. Now, going hand in hand with that, sadly, on the internet, there's so many people that are polarizing to one side or the other that, God forbid, you say something political that either agrees or disagrees with one of those sides. Now they hate you. So imagine, here I am. I'm a content creator who makes gaming content, and people like the gaming content. And now I start talking politics, and God forbid that I say something that you don't like. Now, all of a sudden, how many people will be like, well, you know, I like Phil's gaming, but man, he said that thing, he just doesn't agree with me politically on it, so I can't ever watch his content ever again. None of it. I can never watch any of it. Fuck the gaming because he doesn't agree with me on this political stance. And it's like, what? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Right? Like, that's the dumbest mentality I've ever heard. There's tons of people on this planet I don't agree with, but I can still enjoy the things that they do. Actors, musicians, sports people, content creators on the internet. Hell, there's a ton of content creators on the internet that are very polarized when it comes to politics, and I know that, and I pay no attention to that. I just, you know, I watch the content, and that's it, right? But it really feels to me like there's just a lot of people who don't do that. If you don't 100% agree with me, you're my enemy and I hate you. And that's ridiculous. What a stupid, immature, not developed mindset that is. But so many people are still like that to this day. They do it to me with games, right? So right now, I'm 80 some hours into Baldur's Gate 3. Do you really think I would be 80 some hours into a game that I don't like? I mean, let's be realistic here. No. I would have quit it ages ago. I'm liking the Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough because, again, you guys are here, we're engaging, and we're having a great time with it, and that's why I'm persevering through it, despite the fact there are things about the game I don't like. Certain parts, like the gameplay mechanics and the exploration and things like that, I just don't like. And I've criticized them. That doesn't mean I dislike the game, but people can't understand that. Wait a minute. You're criticizing something, but you don't hate it? Yeah, because I'm not a 5-year-old. I don't believe that there's heroes and villains and ultimate good versus ultimate evil. And I don't have to absolutely love or absolutely hate. I can actually have a stance in the middle somewhere because I have that level of maturity in my brain. But a lot of people feel with just emotion. And the moment that they get something they don't like, that's it. I hate it. And that's what I mean. That's what I'm really worried about going forward in my life. If we're going to do this kind of content, right? And we're going to do political talk and stuff like that, that there's going to be people that are just straight up upset with me because they don't agree with what I say, and now they are never going to want to check out my stuff ever again. And that's concerning. You know, I'm not a giant guy on YouTube. I'm not someone with millions and millions of views. And if I lose a big chunk of my viewer base because someone doesn't agree with me politically, that could kill my business, right? So that's why, because a lot of people say, well, we want this. We're asking for this. We want this now. And I'm like, I don't know. Should I or should I not? I'll tell you this. If I ever do political content, it is not going to be on YouTube. I have to go somewhere else. I have to go somewhere where, like, you're not going to get canceled and shit because of stuff you said. I know there's other places. Like, I know people have talked about Rumble and stuff like that. Like, maybe that would be the future, is that I do that kind of content on a different place. Because I'll be honest, I feel like it wouldn't be fair. If I do it here, you might get people who are just fucking stupid about it, right? And the funny part is, I'm not Republican. I want you to understand that. Like, I'm not conservative. So, I would be on Rumble talking not all the way to the right, which is going to be the rare thing, because I think Rumble is where all the conservatives ran when they were getting, like, kicked off of YouTube, right? So, I don't know. Like, I don't know. You know, again, this is just me talking, because I'm getting such mixed feedback. Cut back on the podcast. We want less talking. Oh, by the way, tonight on the late stream, please do a chill session where all you do is talk. What? Right? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. No, see, that's the thing, too. Orange says, I feel like DSP would end up being labeled certain things, like being pure right wing, because of a few views he has that contradict leftist views. Yeah, but guess what? I have some views that contradict rightist conservative views. So that's the thing, is like, people would label me as two things I'm not. Perfect example of this. I know this is a lighter example. When I started as a YouTuber, I told everyone my favorite console was the Xbox 360. I love the Xbox 360. I liked it way more than PS3. So I was a total Xbox fanboy, according to everyone on the internet. Man, that DSP, all he cares about is stuff on Xbox. Xbox fanboy, don't listen to what he says. Then the next console generation, I outright told everyone, I like PlayStation 4 way more than the Xbox One. I think it's a much better console, better games. You know, everything's better on PlayStation 4. All of a sudden, public opinions, oh, he's a Sony fanboy. He's a Sony pony. Didn't you know Darkside Philly's a shill for Sony? It's like, what? How could I have been an Xbox fanboy, but now I'm a Sony fanboy? It doesn't even make sense what you're saying. And now this console, Jen, I tell you guys I like them equally. So I can't imagine what people say. You know what I mean? But you're right. Like, now imagine that I'm talking politics. I'm saying, well, I agree with this, but they're completely different from the different parties. I don't know. But I bet you people would always spin it in some stupid negative way, right? Anyway, this is just me talking because, again, I don't really know what to do with my content when I get so many conflicting pieces of feedback, right? It really is confusing. It makes me scratch my head. I don't know what to do when I don't. Oh, you're right. Actually, Battleduck says now you're just called like a console pleb. You're right. Because I like PS5 and Xbox Series X. I'm the console pleb. But I should be playing on PC. So I'm just a plebeian, right? There you go. There you go. That makes perfect sense.